Welcome to this dotCMS website training for how to create a call to action. Once you've logged in to dotCMS, you will see a screen that looks like this. And you can select for content, select search, and this will bring you to the content dashboard. From here, under the type drop-down menu, you can select for call to action. And then to create a new call to action, you're going to select this triple vertical dots button on the right-hand side and select Add New Content. This will open up the call to action dashboard. The first field that you're going to fill in is the host or folder field. It's a required field, showing as red and bold. Any fields that are bold and red in this form will also need to get filled in before you're able to publish. So for the host or folder, we're going to select the website folder that we want this call to action to be saved within. And then for title, we need to type in a name for our call to action. This is not something that will show live on the website. This is something that will only show in the back end for us when we're trying to find this call to action in the future. So I'm just going to call this demo test. And then we're going to go to the campaign name field. This is not a required field, it's optional. If you have a Google campaign that you are using for this call to action, you can type that in. Let's say, for example, this is demo test 2020, our campaign name. That's what you would fill in for that field. Priority order. There are a total of 10 potential priority orders that you could have for calls to action on your website. Most websites won't have that many. They might have one, maybe two. And for the purposes of this field, 10 is considered the highest number that you can have, and 1 is considered the lowest. So you want to make sure to give your call to action the highest level of priority, or wherever it needs to fit into the queue of your calls to action for priority. So I'm going to select 10 for this. And then under type of action, there are several different options that you select for what you could choose. What's important to note here is that whatever you select for, this is what Google Analytics will be generated from. So you could select for contact us, download, follow, register, newsletter, take a survey, etc. I'm going to select view for my particular type of action. And then the next field is going to be square image. And you can have calls to action that include images. For example, this particular website is showing a call to action that has an image in the background. It's a hand holding a cell phone. So if you would like your call to action to include an image, it will need to be a square image, and it should be at least 1,000 by 1,000 pixels. So to do that, you're going to select the Browse button. You're going to navigate to your website Uploads folder where your images are stored. And then you can select for an image that's already on your site or upload a new file from your computer to have for that field. I'm just going to select my keyboard image here. And it's not loading that preview to show me, but that should show right in the square image area here. And then for that image, there's an alternative text field that you'll also need to fill in. This is important for those folks who cannot see your website but are navigating it using a screen reader. Then this alternative text will give them a description for the image that they can't see. So for example, I'm going to type in keyboard with hands typing, and that would be a good generic description for the photo that I have uploaded. Next, I'm going to go back over to this link field on the right hand side. Now this is going to be the link that you want people to go to when they take this particular action. So for my purposes, I'm going to select the web address for the demo site. Going to paste it into this link field. And then for your call to action, you can have overlay text and you can have button text. These are optional fields. So for example, I showed you this call to action. This has button text. It doesn't actually have text that overlays the image, but you get the idea for these two fields as to what you could include for that overlay text or button text. So I'm going to include some button text that says visit the demo website. Short and simple here. And then tags. This is a required field. Whatever tags you input here is what's going to help populate which articles your call to action is going to appear within. All call to actions are associated with articles and news feeds. So you're going to want to make sure that you know what tags you want to use for your call to action. So a tag for my particular call to action is going to be the demo tag, because that's related to my demo website and that's related to my demo articles. All right, then the next field that we come across is the system publish date, and you can actually select for a system publish date and time if you would so like to have. You would just need to select whatever date that might be. And then if you want an associated time, you can select for that as well. This is an optional field. You don't have to put anything in. And the same holds true for the system expiration date. For example, this particular call to action isn't one that would necessarily need to have an expiration date. It's just an overarching generic kind of call to action. A call to action that you might need to have an expiration date for would be one that's related to an actual, like an event or something that has an end date associated with it. And in that instance, if you have a call to action that's like that, you're going to deselect the never button, and then you would select for whatever date it is that you might want your call to action to expire. Again, mine is not associated with that system expiration date. It's just a generic call to action. So then you have two publishing buttons that can help you to take action with your call to action. That would be the save button, which will just save your changes to the back end in case you're not ready to publish it. And then there's also save and publish. And save and publish will just push it right live to your website. So when you do that, then you can come over to your site and see that your call to action has been associated with some of the articles on your site. And the example that I'm showing here is for the National Charette Institute and their newsfeed. I've clicked into one of those articles, and the call to action is at the very end of the article. And that is how you create a call to action.